So, having someone that believes in you, what do you guys believe is the number one way into a man's heart? And then you could start, babe, if you'd like. I'd love to hear from each of you on that. All right, you got a time.
It needs to be a all that choice on there, Rhea. All
right.
That.
You got to put all the above.
Let's see. Good luck.
Yeah, every man is different.
I'm just playing.
Every man wants at least, I would say two, at least two of them,
Okay, well, go ahead.
Three on there.
Time is ticking.
It's a whole. Oh, so you want us to answer?
Top three, quick, speed round.
The top three?
Or one.
Food, sex, and believing in me. Food, no, I'm just playing.
Okay.
I love to eat, so everybody that knows me knows that. But
okay. Anybody else?
I would definitely say believing in him and ultimately respect, for sure. Especially in a world today where as a black man we're disrespecting. It's just the respect and the believing in him. Those are the two that I would cooking is find the meal anywhere. But
come on, hello.
We saw respect. I think that's definitely beneficial because we're beat up in the outside world so much. And a lot of the intelligent gentlemen have basically, eloquently spoke on a lot of those different issues and things that we deal with. And so those will be the main things. And I think at any place that we can get it in the world today, I think it definitely should be in the home front. So,
amen. Thank you for sharing that. Respect and belief. All right. I want to hear from some more folks.
All right.
I concur.
You concur.
Okay.
I concur.
I would say it depends on the season that, where the man is in his life. When I was single, I wanted different things than what I want from my wife. I want different things from my girlfriend than what I want from my wife. So if we're talking about dating, the way I can only give my perspective, for me, I met my woman in church. She was in church, and what drew me to her was her serving in the church and her going to like a lot of women's meetings. And I thought that was this sounds stupid now. I thought it was so weird. Like, just go to church. Why you gotta go to the women's meeting and the Bible study? And I just thought that was doing too much. And I saw her serving at the men's function. She'll be, the men's function have women serving and stuff like that. I just thought that was always attractive. She always stood out to me. And there were some other girls in church who were just as wild as me. And I knew where I can go with those relationships, but I knew I didn't want that to be my wife. You know what I mean? And so seeing her serving in church and just really having that identity and that relationship with God as two single people was attractive to me. So seeing her in her purpose. If you're single, let a man see you in your career, in your purpose, doing your thing. For guys like myself, that's very attractive. Another guy might be different. Like some guys like aggressive women, some guys like assertive women. Everybody's different. You gotta know the kind of dude you're dealing with. But as a married man, I like, of course, respect, even when you're single. I like the believing in you. And I can't see the other things because Rhea, I'm not technology savvy. I don't know where that stuff went.
That's all right.
I think it's different needs. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. So respecting him, believing him, and of course, sexing him up when you're married. Those to me are the three key things for most men that I know, including men like myself. But you can't give that stuff to somebody who's not your man. You know what I mean? You can't give it.
Well, I just want to highlight something because I see 0% by being sweet. So I'm about to be gangsta up in this piece from now on.
No. Be sweet. We only had one. We only had one choice.
Being sweet don't get you nowhere. Let's take that away.
Be sweet. Being sweet. Being gentle. Being gentle goes a long way with a dude. Being gentle go a long way with a dude.
Being sweet is wrapped up into respect. It's wrapped up into respect. All those things are wrapped up in that.
Yeah.
Come on, Tamel.
Yeah.
We're going to leave that out for the audience.
The sexing them up in food, I think, ladies, I'm going to tell you that being sweet, having respect and believing in them, sex and the food come with that. That'll be automatic. I kid you not. The way that your man will feel because he knows you have his back, he'll take care of the rest. He'll the things that you've been asking for in your relationship, like I want him to love me this way, I want him to do that, those things can be triggered by y'all's response towards us. So if I know I had a rough, long day and I'm not able to communicate that to you well, but you come over and you say, hey, you know what, you got it. That's an initiation of being sweet. You say, you know what, I believe in you. Then you go down the list of things that I've done that you tell me I'm great. You're affirming me at that moment. I'm going, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Let me go cook for you, for one. How was your day? Let me talk to you. Let me listen to you today. And then, you know, the sex gonna come, that's for sure, because there's a connection there. You know what I'm saying? But that all started with, as a woman, how you triggered us. Now the trigger can go the opposite end too. If you come, stroke his ego. Who wrote that? Is that what I'm saying? I guess it works. It works.
Yeah, that's a question. That's a question that's coming up.
But yeah, it's an opposite end to that trigger too. If you come off disrespectful, aggressive, and let me not even say disrespectful, because a lot of times I'm gonna give people the benefit of the doubt. Some people don't know; they just being themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they'll say something because they see. Because sometimes women could be problem solvers too, because they had to raise themselves, or the independence that you talk about. So they see a problem with us. Hey, okay, you struggling at your job? Oh, okay, go in that office and go send some emails. Like, hold on, I just got home. I want to relax, you know. But that's y'all way of problem solving. But that's for us. We might have received that as, I didn't need that right now. And that's aggression. Just like when y'all want to be heard or valued, or loved a type of way, there are certain things that you don't want. You don't want us just telling you how to do something. You want us, because y'all smart, y'all are intelligent, beautiful people, and y'all most of the time got it figured out. It's just what I've learned from being married is my wife just want to vent. She just wants somebody to talk to. She want to be heard. She want to be held. She want to say, hey, you know what? Cool. She want to be affirmed. And then from there, she got it figured out. She don't need me to tell her what to do. And most of the time, in most cases, I would say women that want to be told what to do, or they'll ask, what do you think about this? They'll initiate for you to give an answer. So that's all I got to share on that, as far as connecting and what triggers what.
I will tell you, this was actually one of the questions that was submitted by one of our viewers. So hopefully you're listening, about what was the best way to support Black men as partners, as brothers, as friends, members of the community. The poll results went down, but what I saw was a 40-40 split between respect and believing in him. So that's a great thing. Mark, you want to share something?
I mean, in you saying that, and this is important. I mean, the reason why those are so important, the believing in him, is if any man, when he gets to the end of his life, when he looks back, and the things that he will regret the most will be not having the ability to pursue his purpose. And if you don't have a woman who can support you in that and believe in you to get there, the bigger regret will not be the woman not supporting you. It'll be the fact that you couldn't actually pursue your purpose. So you need a woman who can get behind that. That's why it's even deeper than just, we need you to believe in me. We need you to believe in me because when I get to the end of my life, if I haven't had the ability to pursue my purpose and you were the reason I couldn't, that's the deepest regret in the world. So that's why that's so important. And then the respect piece is because men take pride in providing, protecting, leading, and giving the ability to do that with a woman who understands that need and is willing to defer and cater to it, not in a submissive way, but in a loving and understanding way that can embrace everybody's role. That's the essence of the respect that we're talking about.
Ooh, I agree with that.
Moment of silence
Yeah.
on that.
I second that.
Yeah, I can't wait I really would love to have a follow-up specifically about relationships, because gender roles and marital roles is a big thing for me. And hearing you talk about it, Mark, what I would assume is that it was made clear. But what I know, especially in my marriage, I'll share that, you don't always sit down and have those conversations. So sometimes you get into relationships and you don't say, okay, this is my role, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. So knowing that and maybe assuming that your partner knows that is a lot of times what I find to add to the confusion or that mystery that they say marriage is. Those roles are embedded in us from how we were raised or from what we saw or perceived. So I'm just excited. You gave me some things to put a pin in. Mario, I want you to share as well. And then we're going to get some more. I think we have another 15 or 20 minutes. So I'm excited to get these questions. But did you want to share to that?
Sure. I mean, I think Mark hit the nail on the head. I think, what we often strive for is a teammate. Be the AD to LeBron, and learn your partner because you guys may do things differently. I may be weak in an area where you're strong, and vice versa. And so really understanding that balance and kind of creating some sort of roles for yourself. I mean, the roles are not what they used to be. That is all out of the window, and what maybe our parents and our grandparents came up as versus how we're living today. So I think, allowing your man the space to be who he needs to be is crucial. And so that is wrapped up in that believing in him, that supporting of him, whether that's praying for him, whether that's cooking him a meal, whether that's leaving him alone or letting him have his space or do whatever that is. Like, it may be different for different guys, but in theory, we all kind of want, those same things. And I think the respect, is tied in that notion of, allowing your man to feel like a man or be a man of the house. So if that means stroking his ego sometimes, or giving him some, or making sure he's fed, however that materializes to your dude, I mean, you got to learn him and know, okay, he likes to shoot threes. I like to go to the basket, or I'm about these rebounds and, he's on defense, whatever roles y'all gonna play, you got to know kind of how you guys fit together. Because again, I think it all ties back to the balance everybody's looking for.
Well, I'm grateful because guess what? You just said exactly what the next question was. So I'm going to throw these questions out rapid fire because those of you who registered in advance and you took the time, I'm sure there's someone that wants to know this. And the very question, Mario, was, why do you need women to stroke your ego? So when I ask these questions, I'm okay with whoever. You don't all have to answer each one, but I do want to get to all of them. So why is it that, I mean, you I see you unmuted.
I'm gonna come back here. I'm gonna just keep it moving. It's not so much like, don't lie to me. You know what I mean? Don't patronize me, but in the notion of build me up, uplift me, affirm me, in different ways that may make me feel good is the essence of it. Don't tell me I look great and I'm in the outfit I should be wearing. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what we're saying. But it's the notion of, again, supporting him and making him feel, like he is your king. If you want to be put on that pedestal as his queen, like, the energy has to be reciprocated, and you get what you put out.
Does anybody else want to share about that ego stroking?
I just want to know if you can give an example. What does it mean, ego stroke? Because I think that has a negative connotation to it. When you say, "Oh, does he want to stroke his ego?" I like the way my man Mario put it so eloquently. He said, "No, don't lie to me. Don't tell me this." But if your woman looks good today, don't she want to hear she looks good? Is that considered stroking her ego? I don't think she look good. So I think it's like connotation, because probably most men felt that when he said stroking the ego. Is that like a negative?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the comment, but I
didn't mean that comment. I didn't mean that comment. I meant the question when she said.
The question is why do you need to have your ego stroked? And it's funny that you perceive it as a negative, because sometimes, Mario, the truth hurts. The truth don't feel good. So I'm like, please, someone, what exactly does one need to have I'm just kidding. I heard celebrated, I heard championed, I heard believing in. But the question that this viewer asked was, why do you need? So does anyone believe that it's a need? I've heard generally men like to be built up.
From my experience, because of what I do, it don't take much. Like when I come home to you is because I get the feedback from what I do as far as if I'm performing or doing whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's a difference from getting it from you than the fan. Yeah. So it doesn't take much. Like I always tell you, less is more for me. It's the little things. It's bigger for you to know that when I'm done doing what I got to do, that I'm coming home to you because of, my business. I'm around women all the time. And like I told you, it's entertainment for me, but I'm coming back home. So knowing, and I love the way you embrace it, and you my number one fan, and you can be in the cut. You don't have to be on the front row like, hey, he's mine, because at the end of the day, why am I going to perform if I'm singing to you or performing for you? So I like the fact that how, and I'm using us as an example, how you don't have to, you allow me, like Mario was saying, just allowing us to do, and like Mark was saying, do what we love to do. Because at the end of the day, that's all we want. And I'm talking about every man that's on here, because we all striving to do something positive. I'm not talking about trifling, dude. I'm talking about cats that's putting in the grind, putting in the work. It don't take much. We don't ask for much. It's just the little things, the very small things, because we get our own self-gratification by the work that we putting in, because we all putting in that work. Like, we putting in work when y'all not around, when nobody's around, when the lights are off, when everybody's asleep. I know each and every one of these brothers put in that work. So we're not the average type dudes where people, a lot of people got to run around and feel like they got to be patted on the back. But if you putting in that work, the way you need to, for me, it doesn't take all of that. Just me winning at what I've been striving to do, I'm gonna get that, for myself, and then you just the icing on the cake. So.
Well, amen. Amen. We are recording this session to play later on in the future. I'm going to move forward with some other questions, guys. Let's rapid fire. So let's ask this one. What is the most valued trait and deal breaker for you in career, love and relationships, and spiritual? That's a very loaded question. So does anybody have any deal breakers or any most valued trait? We talked about respect. We talked about believing in. We talked about the honesty piece and the balancing out. Are there any deal breakers there? Anybody wants to share, or maybe a most valued trait that wasn't mentioned?
For me, a deal breaker will be spirituality, your relationship with God. And if you lack that, then I don't know how else we're gonna move forward. So that's what it is for me. I can't speak for every man, but that would have been a deal breaker. Thank God I have a wife with a like mindset. So, but yeah, I don't see how two people could make it work with two separate ideals or beliefs.
I think a deal breaker is not having a spirit of service. So that little perception of giving to anything will also be the same service you can potentially give in the household, right? So if you're willing to give to a stranger, you can get that same love and respect in the household. So one of the good traits to have is find a person with a spirit of service.
Servitude. I love that. I'm going to get to the next question because I want everybody, and I'm going to probably call some of you all because I want to hear your perspectives. How do I get my man to communicate about the thoughts that are burdening him and also to be supportive? What are some tips for whoever might have written this? Maybe it was me. I don't know. How do I get my man to communicate about the thoughts that are burdening him to be supported? Anybody want to share for those of us who have non-communicators?
Andre, you want to talk about it?
Two of you guys, I think we have a little time.
I would say this, you got to know your man. I think the subtle things that you find when your man is jibbity, it might be over dinner. If you and your man like to play basketball, some guys are into video games or whatever, find out when your man guards is down, when he's real chatty, and then use that a week later, 2 weeks later, like disguise it, like, hey, let's go play golf. Let's go do golf together. You know what I mean? You get your little outfit, you go play golf because he likes to talk when he plays golf, and then bring up those conversations. Don't try to bring it up when he's guarded, like whether in the bedroom. Some people have a rule, we don't talk about nothing like that in the bed. So I think you got to just know your man. If your man is a jibber jabber when he's doing X, Y, and Z, that's when you got a low-key plot to get him in that situation, whether it be like a dinner or a massage or just a walk in the neighborhood. Some people like to just talk about their dreams. Find out what your man is. It's about knowing your man and what his communication triggers is,
Well, I wish the devil is alive if I try to talk while the Lakers are playing, okay? You done set me up on this here.
You know your man there. You know your man.
You done set me up. Anybody else want to share?
I'm going to jump in. I mean, I think to that, timing is everything. Making sure he's in the right headspace for the conversation that you're about to bring to him, or if you got to create a safe space to have that conversation. It'll make a world of difference in the response and attention to the conversation that you'll get. So, I mean, I would really harp on the notion of timing. Sometimes it's not always a good time for a tough conversation. But then that goes to kind of what Terrell was saying, and knowing your dude and being able to know how to approach the subject, or how to be in an environment where, you know, he feels comfortable being open or having that discussion, without, you know, feeling like he's being attacked, or you know, put in a corner, or depending on what the conversation may be about. So I think timing is really crucial.
So good. I'm glad you shared that, because it kind of, I want to segue into some of these other questions, because one of the things that someone asked was why, well, this is about emotions. I've heard a few of you, Mario, Terrell, Andre shared, Trey, all of you all have touched on this in some area about emotions. It says, why are some Black men afraid to show emotions other than anger? So maybe if anybody who has difficulty with expressing their emotions can share or touch on that briefly.
Maybe. I mean, we have a hard time even talking about emotions.
Yeah.
Not tonight.
No, I'm saying, I'll let you hit it, Trey.
Mark hadn't talked in a while. Let him talk.
We don't let Mark.
Let me.
I'm grown,
down,
dog.
Mark.
I know how to speak up. Appreciate it. She trying to
So
get through it.
Miss Rhea, so the way you asked the question is why are we afraid to show the emotion? And I don't think guys actually are afraid to show emotion. We just not structured. Well, some of us are not structured in that manner. We are willing to communicate and, you know, put it out there. And to Andre, to Terrell's point, depends on the season in your life also. When I was younger versus me being in my 40s, it's totally different. And I mean, I can watch a movie now and shed a tear versus when I was 25 years old. I shed a tear watching a commercial. So it depends on where you are in your life and your season and what's going on. We're not afraid to share emotion. It's about the conversation, who you're communicating with, and what you're trying to get to.
Hey, Rick, I think it ties back to the other question too. I mean, if you're trying to get a guy to share, communicate more, or you're trying to have emotion, it starts long before that. If all of the interactions you have are contentious or adversarial, or the issues that are going on, why am I going to trust you to come and talk to you about my emotions? I mean, all you're going to get is anger. All you're going to get is contention. All you're going to get is, because I don't trust you. Versus if I can go to Tamel, I know he's not going to judge me. I know it's not contentious. I know I can just share whatever the hell I want to share in a non, whatever environment, and get a natural course of a conversation that I trust. So a lot of it starts well before you get into I want you to talk about your feelings or what's going on. I ain't even there. I don't even trust you to have a conversation because of everything that's happened before. And there's a contentious environment or whatever there.
Let me add something to Mark what just said. So if there's any situation, and you talk about trust right then, if there's a situation where he does let his guard down, give you some information, let his emotions and his feelings out into the world. 6 months go by, a year go by, you throw that back in his face, you might lose that forever.
Yeah, send back 2 years.
Never get that trust.
Amen.
To be able to let his guard down again.
Yeah.
I just want to. You go ahead. No, that's exactly like when we do get to that place where we can trust and let our guard down. We want to be able to express ourselves, whether you saying, "Hey, tone it down," or why you got to be like I like to use my hands. My tone is loud, but at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with you. It's us expressing ourselves, and that's one of the things that we can sit down with each other, shoot the shit, talk loud, get hype, but at the same time, we allow each other that space to do it where the other person is not feeling like, hey man, can you sit down and talk to me? Like, we feel comfortable enough to do that with our wives. So if we doing that, especially those of us that are dramatic and, passionate about what we talking about, we just want that space to do it. Because if you look at most passionate people, they're like that all across the board. If they're watching their favorite game, if they're at their concert, whatever it is, that's just, when they love something, they're passionate about it.
Yeah.
So That's all it is.
Well, I just want to jump in and say that I can't wait to have a part two. We're not done. I have more questions, but to Mark's point, I think the challenge, and I don't have any children yet, but for those that are married, and what I heard you say, Mark, is that if you build up a pattern of, adversarial energy or, controversy or this or that, but for those of you that are married with children and the pressures of life come in, sometimes the only time you have, is that one little window. So I'm really looking forward to continuing the conversation, because I'm definitely enlightened to hear that. I don't think that some of us can come off, and I'll say me, I could come off adversarial, and I just think I'm just speaking honesty. And then I'm like, well, what? I didn't even mean it that way, So I'm glad that you shared that, because that's exactly what I want this conversation to be about, is so we can all, women and men, look inward and say, hey, how can I take a pause or be more reflective on how I'm, engaging with my partner? So I'm grateful. To that, there's a question about there being a stigma that men don't change. What's your opinion on that? And should women wait around for that change? So Andre spoke earlier about loving a man where he is. And we all know that, some people can be well into their later years and be stuck and be consistently just wrong or, not evolved or, complacent. So does anyone have any thought on that, on men?
Hey, can you add to the change? Give me more depth on what you mean by men don't change.
I don't know if the person who asked this question is on the call and feels bold enough to share. But there's just a stigma that men don't change. Maybe men are set in their ways. What sticks out to me as a woman is, should women wait around for that change? That's the latter part of the question. Is that there's a stigma that men don't change? Who is that?
I'm a disagree with the man. Anybody can change. However, nobody's oblivious or stupid to the fact that it takes effort to change. Mm-hmm. It takes action. So, and showing that people can change. So I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna disagree with men get stuck and don't change, or however the question was worded. Okay. As far as a woman waiting around for a man to change, mm-hmm. I'm not gonna advise. That's not my place to advise any woman to do so. But look for effort and action. That's the advice I would give to that.
Look for effort and action. That's good. Anybody else before we go to the next question? Is should women wait around for that change?
I feel like if the woman is worth it, the man is going to do what he needs to do. If it ain't worth it, he's not going to do it. He's not. Simple. He's going to do what he want to do for who or what, if it's important. So I'm a living witness. So.
Yeah, and I think you got to be careful with the word change, because, you may want him to become something that he's never going to change into. Right. Is he going to grow? Is he going to evolve? Is he going to get better at being who he is? You hope, and that's what you want to see happen. But if you want him to be a different person than he is, then you're waiting around and it's never going to happen. Even if he does change, it's still not going to be the change you wanted to see.
Yeah. Glad you spoke to that point. Are the attributes that you expect in him to change core values or core personality traits? That's never going to be different. Glad you said that. As we are tying up and getting to some of these other questions, there was a question asked, what are your biggest challenges with commitment? And I know all of you don't struggle in that department by any means. But really quick, from the barbershop, what are some things that you can just shoot out, maybe one challenge with commitment really quickly? Mario, why don't you start, because you highlighted on my screen.
Mario, before you start, we all married on this show. We don't have no problems with commitment.
Well, at some point you did. That's why I said none of you have a problem. At some point you did, and
I'm just messing. Go ahead, Mario.
Well, no, I mean, I guess because I can speak to it from that standpoint. You got to be ready for it. Period. You gotta want it. And that's not something you can make him want. And it's, where he's at in the season of his life. I think somebody touched on it earlier, where oftentimes we want to feel like we're at a certain point in our development as a man to then become one with somebody and bring them into our world like that. Whatever it is you're chasing after, you want to kind of feel like you on a course, you on a path that I can direct this, I can lead this woman in this relationship to the destination that we both want to go to. And I think that's a big part of it. I mean, for those that know me, on some people I know on this call, I have a group of friends that I've been friends with for probably over 30 years, most of which are married. And not everybody was, really ready for it, but they did it in certain instances because they felt like they didn't want to lose the woman. But whatever it is, he's got to want it. He's got to want to be in that situation. He's got to want to be committed. And if he's not made up his mind to let go of the, single ways or whatever it is that's holding him back, or he feels like he's at a point where he's settled or can build with somebody. But I mean, yeah, you can't make, him be ready if he's not at that point.
Love it. I'm going to ask you all a question because we got one, and I love that because we are wrapping up. I want anybody that's viewing, I know I've done a lot of talking with the panel, and you guys have just sat there so engaged, and I'm so grateful. Please feel free. We got a question, and I'm going to ask each panelist, because you all talked about marriage and commitment, what is one thing that you believe women want in a marriage? What's one thing you believe? Andre, let's start with you.
Transparency.
Okay.
And sum it up, just being open and vulnerable.
Okay. All right. Mark, thanks, babe. What's one thing you believe women want in marriage and relationships for Mario when we get to you? And marriage.
Yeah, I mean, I think that women want to be loved the way they want to be loved. I mean, I think that every woman is different, but there's a core of genuine and true connection of love that every woman wants. So they feel like you all feel like everything stems from. And when you're not able to have that connection, it causes, it can cause issues in a relationship. But if you feel like you're genuinely loved and you feel like that we're there to protect you and we're there to defend you and we're there for you unconditionally, I think most stems from that for most women.
Like Mark said, mine will be short, gentleness. My woman wants gentleness and tenderness from
Let me find my celebration reaction real quick and my heart. Okay, sorry. Mario, wait, let me do that heart one more time. Okay, Mario, what do you think women want in marriage?
Faithfulness, honesty. I think that, the truth hurts sometimes. We do make mistakes. But I think at the core of it, that's, I feel like what, a lot of issues stem from is, trust and being honest. And again, I think the vulnerability and being open kind of ties into that as well. But yeah.
You see how long that heart stayed up on my screen? I'm so grateful, y'all. Y'all touching on all the things. Trey, what do you think women want in marriage?
Security, to be valued and heard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I think women want in a marriage. I mean, there's a lot of things. Women are different. I know that's what my wife wants. That's for sure. She gets that. So,
All right. Well, by the way.
Hey, Rhea.
Yes,
hey,
Mark.
Rhea.
Yes, Mark.
But we did forget one thing, though.
What's that?
The women want that money. They want that money.
What if the women could make their own money? I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Nah, that's okay. They want that too.
My money.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, but I'd rather that sweetness. You understand me? Be nice to me.
I don't know.
No, I know. Mark.
You don't want to be. You rather us have money than I'm sweet and we broke.
I don't know about that.
Hey, go ahead, Tamel.
New conversation. All right, Tamel, what do you think women want in marriage?
So all the fellas, I think they wrapped up all the key words are in there, right? So if you take 6 of them, and the polls represent not just from the male perspective, but from the female perspective as well. I think women want respect, and they want you to believe in them. They have their own careers. They want security, and they want you to be believing in them, what they're doing as well. So it goes both directions, and if you're feeding that energy in both directions, sky's the limit.
You better go ahead. See that celebration? You guys
Sex and food.
Well, thanks, Trey. Yay. So, guys, I hope that gave you all a little bit of nugget. Does anybody, before we wrap up, have any burning things? We have a few seconds left. I'm going to let each of our panelists say any closing shout outs to their businesses or thoughts or takeaway. I am just going to plug really quick. I'm going to have another purpose conversation. One, we're going to segue a part 2 after this. And then 2, I'd like to have one on faith and friendship. That's actually the next topic. So I'm really looking forward to having you all support that. This has been amazing. Does anybody want to say any final thoughts, goodbye, or plug your Instagram pages, your websites? You got.
I just want to plug my wife's, one of her best friends' candle business. It's called Relax and Restore.
Relax and Restore.
That with my tequila has been helping me flow with my answers. So if you want some good candles, your place smelling good, go to Relax and Restore on Instagram as well. If you're a man and you like to smell good, because we know if we look good, we smell good, we feel good. So I have a YouTube page coming out next week called Fresh Sentiments, and it's about reviewing fragrances and certain fragrances for different occasions, for date night, for summertime, for wintertime, and just smell good. So check that out.
Come on, Relax and Restored, Fresh Sentiments. Brother Money Motivation, you want to close us out with yours?
Well, I mean, not necessarily to plug Bennett, but I'll just say, I mean, Rhea, this was incredible, and I think, I mean, it was fun too, and I actually think it's more simple than we make it. Men and women competing, got their guards up. When if we just be who we naturally made to be, each party, everybody will get what they're looking for. I think it's more simple than we make it, every single day. So thank you to my beautiful wife. I appreciate you sitting there listening to me, along with everybody else. I love you. But I do think that, Rhea, and I thought this was an incredible platform and a great conversation. Some very incredible, intelligent brothers and beautiful sisters on the call. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh, heartwarm. Thank you so much.
I also, like I said, I'm just very proud of you. I love you, and everybody that's tuning in, even those that tuned in when she does her other shows and everything. I'm just very excited for her, because I encourage her all the time that the sky's the limit for her. And again, I'm not saying this because she's my wife, but she's a powerful woman. I've seen it from just me dating her, and she made me do a 180. So if you guys know me, if I did a 180, then that's a powerful woman. And I'm not just saying this because it's some things that I had to work on. And like Mario saying, we have to grow up at a certain point. And if we're going to step and do it as far as marriage and be committed, then we do it. If not, just don't do it. Because it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's work every single day. So, babe, I applaud you. This time next year, I'll see you on TV, big time. So, and I've said this to you before. So, everyone, please spread the word. Continue to support her with what she's doing, because she is awesome. So,
thank you, Tear.
Thank you, Rhea. Fellas, it was definitely a pleasure. I was blessed by a lot of y'all answers, man. I want to say this because I do care about your viewership and the women that took their time out the day to listen to us, and giving us a safe place to be vulnerable and express some things that we may want to see change or help y'all and assist y'all with any further decision making in y'all relationships or just encounter with different Black men. I will say this: pay attention to the red flags and don't ignore them. I know women are very nurturing. Y'all ride or die for us. Y'all love us, and y'all would ignore some of the silliest stuff and keep riding that same nonsense, that nonsense wave. What I really want to tell y'all, man, don't pay attention to the red flags and don't ignore them. I really care about y'all. So thank you, Rhea, for having us. Love y'all. This was great.
I'm up here tearing up. Y'all better make me cry. Come on. Mario, any closing thoughts?
I mean, I want to thank you as well, Rhea, for bringing us all together to have this conversation. I just encourage everybody to do more of this in your own circles. you know, amongst your family members this holiday season or friends, you know, when you're around folks, you know, have this open dialogue, have it with the older folks in your family. I feel like a lot of us need to unlearn things that we don't even realize we were, you know, being raised with, you know, misinformation or weren't really told the truth about what was going on in our families. And a lot of that feeds into who we are and what we look for and what we expect out of our relationships now. You know, guys talk to guys, females talk to your male friends and that kind of thing, because I think this helps us all. And I really just want to encourage everybody to be safe. You know, 2020 has been a crazy year. It's made a lot of people really look inward and have to make some adjustments and changes. And, you know, I think the word vulnerability has come up so many times. And I think that's kind of the theme here, is just allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to be open to change, to be wrong, and grow from that. You know, so thank you, Rhea, for bringing us together. You know, support your friends. We got to do more of this, y'all.
This is so sweet. How did this emotion come? Come on, brother Tamel. You wanna say good night to the people?
Yes, Sister Rhea. Once again, thank you. I mean, for setting up this platform and allowing us. Mr. Rain, you got something you want to say? What'd you say? Oh, okay.
Damn, Malcolm Farrakhan over there.
I know. I want to sing "Change Gonna Come" in the background while you talk.
No, it's actually been amazing, and actually allowing us to have this platform to speak to you guys and actually get those questions. I actually got my own notes here as well, so it's been good giving that information and receiving that information. I look forward to part 2, part 3, and all those things that are coming in 2021. So thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
good job, fellas.
I'm so excited.
Thank you,
you
ladies.
guys. There will be one, and we're gonna have one where there's women, okay? And we want the audience to be men. So stay tuned, everyone. I'm so grateful. Thank you for staying till the end. This is amazing. Just I love you. Thank you for joining. Please reach out to me if you enjoyed this. I know there was a poll question that we had which asked, you know, do you believe discussions like this are meaningful? And you guys have all spoke to that. So that's why I'm probably feeling the emotions. But thank you very much. I love you and have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I can't wait to see you for the next one.